So Steve Pennington and I are here with Jeff Drews, Southwest Microwave. Jeff, you're sales manager and your focus is mainly on the federal and DoD space. And I want to get your perspective of the technologies and solutions that Southwest Microwave offers. I will say though, from my perspective, the conversations I'm having with integrators, I think Steve, you as well, that now more than ever in the hostile world that we're living in, if there's ever an opportunity to move your perimeter away from just the front door of your building and to be alerted of a threat before it's at your building, you just have more time. It gives the end user more time to react. So that is why more than ever, I think Southwest Microwave solutions are very, very relevant more than ever right now. So tell us a little bit about what we have here and that we're showing you, Tim.
Absolutely,
Jeff.
Thanks Nick. We have three main products essentially. So we start with our fence detection system. That's a cable that runs along the fence, and the real key to that is that it can locate down to a 3-foot section of fence. So we can tell where an intruder's coming in down to a fence panel in all reality. So going from there, we have our microwave systems. We are Southwest Microwave, so we've been doing that since the 70s. What we highlight there, and especially at the show, is some advancements in those technologies to make it more user-friendly for today's day and age. Networking, these ones are now PoE enabled with a built-in web browser so they can be programmed. Just ease of networking, ease of installation through the whole 9 yards.
Brought into the system as a real smart device, not just something to generate a contact closure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so if you can make it easy to install, easy to integrate with the existing infrastructure, it's just that much better.
Plus, you can also monitor the status of the device from what's going on with it, so that if there's some sort of a problem with the device, it notifies you earlier, not after you're getting a contact closure and then going out to troubleshoot.
And to take that one step further, you're not stuck to one contact closure for 5 different types of alarms. Right. Individual indications.
Great benefit, great benefit.
Yeah. On top of that, we have our buried cable systems, and those are for terrain following, where you don't necessarily have flat ground, very covert. The bad guy, per se, doesn't know where that field starts or finishes. He doesn't even necessarily know it's there. And with that, we can detect down to a 6-foot area.
Yeah. So that's something we see in a lot of facilities where you don't want to have a visible physical barrier, but you want to have that early warning and that early notification. So you don't have microwaves out if it's around a very upper end residence or an architectural building or something like that. You actually can put it underneath the ground. What kind of ground can it actually go in terms of where you can put it?
Actually, that's a unique advantage, and I appreciate you bringing that up. Is not only can it go in the soil, but you can bury it under asphalt. You can saw cut it into asphalt. It can go definitely right into concrete and detect. So you can go across multiple mediums. So most applications, it's not just one spot of ground or one type of terrain. You may have a parking lot it needs to go and protect the perimeter of, or a tarmac at an airport, something like that.
So it kind of brings a closure to systems that 3 sides, the 2 sides in the back, which people aren't concerned about, looking all this great from the roadside. You can have different types of coverage on those other 3 sides because they're not in front of everybody's face, but the buried stuff up front allows the customer to have that open, natural look that has that, I'll call it curb appeal, not typically what we see in our environment, but people that are concerned about that architectural look and how things go. So the buried product does a great job covering that 4th open side.
And I think what you touch upon, a great aspect of Southwest Microwave, is that when we meet with a customer, an end user, we don't say this is what we require out of your perimeter. What does your perimeter look like? We have that conversation because of the technologies that you have. We can work with, do you have a fence? Do you have an open field? Is there a place where we need microwave beams? Or is it a combination of those, as you said, Steve? Right. So we can look, it's all about having the conversation and seeing what solution and how we apply it can really work with the customer's perimeter and develop the right detection so we know if that threat comes.
One of the other unique things I want to make sure we cover, because especially in the federal space, you get into some different types of fence. We're seeing a lot of different fence now, from the power distribution market all the way up through now to here. So everybody's used to a chain link fence as a typical type fence, but now we have these hardened metal barrier type fences, and we have these other type fences that are getting used in the power and energy distribution market. Can we take a look over
Yeah, we
here
have a
and
great
talk a little
example.
bit about this other type fence, which I think we see a lot in the federal space, which is
Definitely do.
important because customers are always asking about, how do I protect this?
Let's just shift down 10 feet and take a look at this. Whose suitcase did we pack this in?
It came in a big old crate. And so what we're showing here is, Steve mentioned, is this is Ameristar's in-pass high security fence. We're looking at it actually from the secured side. So from the outside, you don't see these rails.
Yeah.
What you don't see, and it's probably very difficult to pick up on from the camera, is that there is security sensor wire, or micropoint 2, installed on this fence.
I see that.
And so it's actually in those channels, completely protected. These rails protect it more, so it completely covert, so to say, but it also serves to keep moisture out of there, leaves, debris, ice, all of that.
And even though this is a more rigid fence solution than chain link, it still detects those cuts and climbs, and I can be notified of that threat within 10 feet. Is that still the case?
That still is the case, and matter of fact, Steve just set off an alarm on that monitoring system by banging on that fence right there.
I can hear it.
But the other thing is, we talked about applications where you don't necessarily have one type of terrain. A lot of sites don't have the same type of fence. They may have this up front and a chain link in the back where it's not customer visual. And so on this system, we have our micropoint 2 system running on that chain link going directly over to here. So that's something a lot of other fence sensor manufacturers aren't able to do, is transfer from different types of fence or different fence fabrics, materials with as much ease as we do, and maintain that level of protection.
So not having to have more expensive controller electronic devices for specific areas, we can have continuous coverage on the same cable across that difference in the fence fabric.
Yep.
So clearly Southwest Microwave can bring a lot of value to a physical security solution, and I think if you're at the show, please stop by and take a look at this technology, have a conversation, but also more importantly, for those folks at home, please reach out to the Southwest Microwave team, reach out to us locally at Chesapeake and Mid-Atlantic Marketing, and let's have the conversation. Let's, it might eventually turn into a site visit, but basically, initially, we just want to have the conversation and find out what risks you're trying to mitigate and how can Southwest Microwave be part of that solution.
Hey, we're going to be going over to the Milestone booth, I believe, next, right? And
Yeah,
talk
we
a
are.
little bit about how these products integrate in with third-party devices. So, like Milestone, Genetech is here in the booth on some of the stuff, but I think we're going to wander over. So, give us a couple minutes to wander over to the
I've heard that
Milestone
word before,
booth.
integration. I've heard that before.
Yeah. And we'll meet with you again over there, and I guess we're going to catch up with Tim over there, right?
Yep, Tim's over there as well.
Great.
All right, thanks again.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Ken.
thank you.